My name is Jimmy Kuehnle. I grew up in St. Louis, born in Atlanta, Georgia, and I live and work in Cleveland, Ohio. So my work is really about being alive, being a human being, not being dead. It's so strange and absurd to be in that condition that I don't know what to make of it. I have no answers, and I'm not trying to provide any. And I just want to make sure that I've taken as many opportunities as I can to scratch on this earth. Jimmy was here, Jimmy had some breath, and then Jimmy was gone. My dream is to have an artwork that you just press a button, and then I have this total visceral and ephemeral, engaging experience that becomes art. And inflatables start to get towards that goal because I can have them packed up in a little bag, I can put them on the back rack of my bicycle, take them somewhere, turn them on, it's not quite pushing a button, and then it becomes this piece of art, and then I can pack it up just like putting my guitar in my guitar case. Being an artist is a privilege. I never thought of myself as not one. And so I try to blend art and life together. I always think you have to compete with the flashing popcorn signs. You have to compete with 7-Eleven. You have to compete with movies. There's so many other things that you can do, people can do, that if you're not in that milieu of life, then it's not art. And I don't keep a traditional studio practice where I go to the studio and I go, oh, it's art making time. I just kind of do all the time. So MOCA is a very interesting building. You look at it and that doesn't look like the other buildings. And then when you find out it's a museum, you say, it's like the Guggenheim. Are you going to hang art on all the walls? And MOCA does a great job of dealing with that, but there's also a lot of spaces in the building that are not set up for quote-unquote traditional art presentation and display. And so when I saw MOCA, I wanted to work in a space that was underutilized. And the building is very architectural. It really has a presence, but it has a cool presence. Everything inside is blue or gray. And I wanted to have something that was much warmer and lifelike and more human in the space. And so that's why the pink glow that's around me right now is the color I chose for a piece. And I originally wanted it to fill up the entire space, just expand and then ooze out everywhere. There is no space because the sculpture or the piece is there. As I dialed it back and refined the idea, it became a breathing appendage-like form that will be illuminated from the inside. And so what I wanted to create was something that enveloped everybody and was like being inside an inflatable, but from the outside. So the shape references the space, the shape of the sculpture. So the way I made it is I made a three-dimensional model from CAD drawings in MOCA, and then I made a shape that filled the whole space. So I made that stuffed full. And then I said, well, how can I make this work with this space and people interacting with it? And that slowly was carved down into a form that 23 feet and above almost fills the space, sands melting on the lights in the ceiling. And then 23 feet and below has 3 large appendages that will give the impression of a sculpture expanding down towards you. Yet as it gets closer, you'll realize that the forms taper and there is space to exist still. Everyone is always so quiet in a museum, and I really like museums. I love going to see art, I love going to see exhibits, and I always am so energized. Yet it's the most quiet, energized state because I'm so excited and I just want to see everything. And I'm like, and I look at the pieces and that's art, isn't this great? But then I just want to run around and have a good time. But that's just not the way our society says we look at art, which is no big deal, that's fine. But I want people to have that excitement. One of the goals of it is that it will never be the same while you're looking at it. I'm a human, and I have no idea what I'm doing in my art practice, and I think that humans basically have no idea what's going on. We just happen to be here, we think that everything is special, but we're not special, and my art's not special. It's going to be there, and it's going to be great while it's there, but then it'll be gone.